Welcome back, baby dolls, to crypto's juiciest news, and of course, the juiciest friendship of all. We have Tim Apple, the CEO. He dumped $88 million of Apple stock. Jim Cramer is in disbelief. Now, what's interesting is the crypto correlation to stonks has been holding up. So even though stonks has been going down, crypto is still following the magical Ponzi fractal that we've been waiting to see. This is from the Mt. Gox cycle, so we've just overlaid it with each other, and we are really close to being due. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like mid-October, for some reason, mid-October, we just start heading up. You know, we could head up a bit earlier, but then we just don't peak out as much. That's also possible. It's rare, but it still happens. And I have the chart here showing the repo, stock market, and Bitcoin. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide the repo, and you can see the stonks. What's been happening right now is this is the chart, what it looks like. You can see our stonks started to come down, but we are starting to roll up. That's good, but of course, if we matched to where the stonks are, Bitcoin would be around 45 to 50K. That's how disgusting it is. It's almost like the stock market was jammed up, but Bitcoin didn't believe the euphoria. So hopefully, fingers crossed, on the S&P 500 correction, Bitcoin just starts going up and shows the whole crypto market that, hey, we are going to be better than stonks because they are overpriced anyway. But what about Tim Apple selling the Apple stock? This is Jim Cramer and Apple. This is from my post history. Jim Cramer cursed Apple so much in 2022. I was reporting on this. He said Apple is the greatest stock of all time. Okay. And then he also, I know he made a private post. He says, don't trade Apple this whole decade. Just own it. And I knew as soon as he said that, the curse was confirmed, and now Apple has peaked. Now, when I mean peak, I don't really mean that the price just goes down from that point. What I mean is, when we look back in the future, we'll say, oh yeah, that was not a condition to own it. Now, of course, why is everybody not going to take this seriously? So this is a weekly chart. Let's actually put it to a monthly chart. This is Apple. I know you're in disbelief, right? This is Apple on a monthly chart for the last 20 years. Yeah, it's literally just top it to the right. But now you've got the actual curse here, the curse of all curses. And when you have the inverse oracle god telling you that you should not be traded, but instead owned, I'm going to take note. Don't forget, this is what Apple does. This is what the stock market does, okay? For the biggest stocks, remember, all these institutions are getting free money. They're getting free money loans, free money printed, and everybody's DCA buying. So when the market basically puts its foot off the pedal, and we wait, you still have the DCA buyers from all the mum and dads who are working for their 401k. And this just might push things through the high, confuse everybody, and then just dip back in. But nobody takes note of that. Why? Because no one's paying attention. So this is something we're going to pay attention to. We're going to be interested to see if this does continue to be one big fat giant range. And that's actually what we want to see. Because I kind of got the feeling if stocks go sideways, crypto will attract more stock market people. In other news as well, we had the corrupt SEC filing a new lawsuit against Coinbase. I almost called them Soybase for a second. Don't forget, friends, just to let you know, I know Coinbase is defending the crypto industry right now. And I love them for it, right? Fake DeFi Uniswap betrayed me. Now they are soy boy cucks. And Coinbase is part of the friendship crew. But I want you to know, I know how this story works, all right? Soybase is going to be their name within the next 5 to 10 years. So they are going to betray us. And you're probably wondering, where is this coming from? Well, Roca Negra, their account is with Soybase, okay? They are routing all the volume through Soybase, and unfortunately, they're going to get their tentacles in. The office is going to be poisoned. This is the long story, friends, but don't worry, we're still in like the early seasons. The writers are making us love the characters. There's just going to be like a Judas type of betrayal later on. Now, I'm not looking forward to this. I just hope that we're at much higher prices. So when we deal with it, we're in a much better financial position. Continuing on, right? Ricardo Corazon, the founder of Real DeFi, PulseChain, Hex, and PulseX, okay, he's been tweeting. He tweeted twice. You're like, wow, 2 tweets. I mean, other founders don't do much, right? So Richard Hart reminded everybody that they're Real DeFi. He also said how cheap they are. This is his tweet. So he mentioned something about lawyers. The arguments that support cash also support cryptocurrency. So don't worry about looking at the big write-up. But he basically just is using these legal terms. I guess it's going to be telling a judge, you know what, crypto's free speech, which is what we've been saying for you. and you are my friend. Also, he reminds everybody that PulseChain is 1,000x cheaper to transact now. I know when you hear this, you're like, oh yeah, it's great, it's 1,000x cheaper, but we're 1,000x like down, all right? But you can't think about it from the past, all right? When we use our human emotions to describe the pain we've been through, I understand we want an outlet. Some people will do physical harm. Some people maybe some people go just punch a boxing bag, right? Some people go train weights. That's what I like doing. There needs to be some sort of outlet. And you got to remember, this is the difference though. If your outlet is to go to thousands of people and tell them, hey, you know this sucks, you should sell, all right, you are counterproductive, okay? Why does everybody like to hear what I say? It's because I can tell you, the emotions you feel is normal. Yeah, it sucks. The prices are down. Okay, am I selling? Nope. Does this impact long-term fundamentals? No. Yeah, maybe the prices are lower than what I expected. But to be honest, it's just that maybe the Hex and PulseChain prices were too high to begin with, because I haven't modified any other price targets for Chainlink, Bitcoin, Ethereum. They've all stayed the same. Okay, so that's just something we're going to have to come to terms with reality. And you know what? I can still be wrong. I still give it a 30% chance I'm wrong. The people who get screwed the most are the people who say, well, there's a 100% chance my worldview is going to happen, right? They're not the people who survive in this game. The people who survive in this game and go, well, you know, historically, 50-50, I'm wrong, so I'm just going to hold some just in case. This chart as well is PulseX chart. PulseX is down horrifically from the top. It's down 91%. It was down 93% at the bottom. Look, I'm just hoping that we get to this pre-corrupt SEC area. For PulseX, it's actually very nasty. It's still minus 65% down. So that kind of sucks, where the first zone you get to take a breather is where you're only down minus 65% after waiting. And by this point, it might be just next year, December. So it's very possible, friends. We don't know how long these things will take to move up. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, this is normal. It's happened before. Of course, we don't have many data points in crypto. But if you're just going to wait for all these confirmations, you're not going to make it. You're literally not going to make it. You're going to be buying the top with everybody else. So if I had fresh capital to deploy, I would still be buying. No questions asked. I wouldn't leave limit orders. I wouldn't leverage trade. I wouldn't do anything. I'll just keep buying, market buying. If you've been listening to me for a year now, I've been telling you the exact same thing, okay? I would be market buying Hex under 10 cents. That's it. Just market buy any Hex under. That's what I would do, okay? Total Hex under 10 cents, market buy. Right now it's like 1. So you got like a free 10x if you like it, but nothing's really free, right? That's just what I would do. Same for Pulse and PulseX. As long as PulseX is below day 1 sec, I'll just keep buying. You can decide to do what obviously you want to do. Everybody has their own conditions, what they think they can handle. But at the end of the day, there's going to be more springs of volatility coming out in the future. And you're going to have to be prepared as well. We might not go up as high, because I did a poll, okay? Around the Bitcoin halvening, everybody expects, this is the majority of the crowd, okay? So this is where the Bitcoin halvening is. This is PulseX. Here we go. I'm changing it to just a 3-day chart. PulseX, Bitcoin halvening is April 2024, right? You see that dot? This is the minimum price the majority of the crowd thinks that PulseX is going to be on the Bitcoin halving. They think from here we're going to be a 10x or higher. So that's what the crowd is. Now, the least vote was 25%. Or lower, so it's around here, which is actually pretty good. That's interesting, right? So most people think we're going to be back to break even or higher, and then the least amount of people think we're going to be around there. But if you were just take a guess, feels like would be down here. Now, what I really hope, and I hope we go up and swoop up that. But I'm just letting you know, isn't that interesting? So we can track it over the next 6 months. The majority of the crowd think they're going to be back to break even or better in PulseX in the next 6 months. And I'd like to share with you this nice information about maybe a potential bottom signal. Now, as we battle the 27,000 to 30K zone for Bitcoin, which you've been waiting for 200 plus days, you're probably confused. You're like, wait a minute, Bitcoin bottomed here. But no, we are now talking about altcoins, okay? Bitcoin is not going to make anybody wealthy. The time for that is over. You already had 14 years to make you wealthy. Oh, you didn't sell the top on leverage, or you didn't buy the bottom. Okay, you see how hard it is, okay, for the average person. Statistically, you're not going to make it. I guess it's better to think of Bitcoin as a long-term savings vehicle. If you are familiar with, so for example, the Hex community, a lot of the Hexicans, we say, well, you know, Hex can be a long-term savings vehicle as well. But let's be honest. You can't tell people, save into this thing that drops minus 99%. You just have to be intellectually honest, okay? So unless you can guarantee me that Hex hits over $2 in the next cycle, Or, yeah, right, maybe $2. That's a good range. Why did I say that number? That's because every single Bitcoin cycle to this point, it's broken the high by at least a 3x, okay? So once it broke the high by like a 100x, and then a 17x in 2017, and then it broke it by 3x in 2021, okay? So if Hex can't at least break a 3x, why am I saying this? Well, you're thinking about all the people trapped, okay? Remember, it's not what you really want, it's what's reality. You got to think about all the people who have bought in here. There's like 100,000 plus people. So, like, what would, like, I guess, right everything of its sins for a drop this big? You would need Hex to do, I guess, the minimum is, say, the Bitcoin savings. Because we still say Bitcoin is an okay savings vehicle for long term. And what did it do? It broke the high by 3x. So you would need total Hex to hit $1.50. And right now, it's about 1 cent. And this is Mr. Dipcatcher's website here. This is the real total Hex combined chart price, which is nice. So it's 1.2 cents. It peaked it dropped under like 9/10 of a penny, which is insanely ridiculous to sit through. So the top was about 50 to 55 cents. We dropped under 1 cent. So that is the benchmark, you would think. Now, of course, if it works out, you get an enormous return from here, don't you? You get 150x plus your short-term yield, which is about 10% made in the next 18 months. That's like short-term staking and being conservative. So you would get 165x gain from here. That's if we got that. But that would require a lot of money coming in. That's why, like, just being honest, when you look at these numbers, you got to think, okay, the size it needs to get to, it is achievable, but it doesn't come like guaranteed. Because I know a lot of people don't like market cap talk, but you got to learn it, man. For total Hex to get to 150 for $1.50, its total market cap would be about, so you do 120 billion coins times $1.50. So there you go. You got to have about 180 billion market cap. So you'd need billions of dollars sitting in the liquidity pool here. And the exact number, if you want to figure it out, is about 3% of that 180 billion. So you would need $5 billion sitting at that market cap, sitting at the top for liquidity. Or you guess you could divide it by 2 or 3. Let's divide it by 3, about 1.5 billion. At the top of Hex, we had about 100 million USDC. And remember, you have a lot of the inflation dumpers as well, and the whole ecosystem has to be supported. So remember, I mean, Cardano went from nothing to 100 billion market cap. So a lot of these things are definitely possible. It's just a question of, are you going to get it in the next few years? Because it's one thing to say to people, yes, this is a good store of value and savings vehicle, but it's another thing to tell them, okay, when we go down, we drop minus 99% and you're down after 3 years. So that is just got to be, you got to think about other people's mindsets. That's why the positives, right, will outweigh the negatives. You say, look, we've been able to survive through this. It's a long-term thing, but as well, you got to be careful when we speak to people and even yourself. Okay, we say long-term. How long-term are you talking? Okay, because the early Hexicans who were buying, you know what their long-term was? Their long-term was 2 years. Okay, that was their long-term. They go, oh, I bought, and then by the top, there you go, 644 days. Okay, what's your long-term here? Since the top, I mean, look how much we've round-tripped here. We've round-tripped 1,253 days. So this is many altcoins as well. They're in the same boat. Okay, so that's just something that you got to keep in mind when we're communicating to other people. Like, okay, well, it's long-term savings vehicle. But they say, okay, how long we talking? You're going to say, oh, 10 years. Like, it's very hard to tell people this is only going to work in 10 years and it's not going to do well before that. So everyone has to work on the marketing and the messaging before that. And that's exactly what I've been making my videos that you like, subscribe, belly button, and all to show everybody that you want a crypto community that's a cult, that's strong, that can withstand anything, okay? Because this is the biggest positive I can tell you is that if this thing bounces back, nothing can ever kill it. Nothing. Like you're rising from minus 99.5%. You can't possibly get closer to zero than this point. Right? Of course, technically you can, but you get the point. So that will be a big, big positive under the wings. So that's when I was speaking about this bottom signal post, my last thing for you. So yes, when we're talking about altcoins, friends, altcoins are the real bottom signal. We don't care about Bitcoin, Ethereum, because they're not going to change anybody's life, but they've already done that. We're playing for the next leg. All right, so Mr. Lord Farquaad, look what he did. So 6 hours ago, he made this very long post about QNT. So Quant is a fake Chainlink competitor. He goes, look at this bottom part first, okay? I logged into Twitter today because I've been seeing the FUD around quant, and I wanted to do a bit of digging. The FUD is around 3 things, so I did a very long post. He dispelled all the FUD. Now, to my surprise, 6 hours later, he tweets this. By the way, this is not a joke. He says, I just sold all my quant. It was once worth 140k, sold for 25k. All right. Now, remember, we all have the same price quote. But what's the difference? The believers hold, and they get abused by the short-term loss takers. All right. And then the short-term loss takers quit, and they just go, and then they start cheering. Okay. Because, oh, I'm finally out. I'm free. The shackles are gone. Because they now feel better. Okay. Look what he also mentions. He goes, it's sad, but I don't think there's going to be another bull market for a very long time. The macroeconomic conditions are just not there. So, Mr. Lord Farquhar, is this another bottom signal? Okay, I'm just to tell you, this type of stuff, I know we're seeing so many bottom signals. That's why I believe when we finally do exit this zone, we are gone for good. There's not going to be one of those BS black swan events that we had, like the zombie virus. You see here, when we're finally done, I don't think we're going to see this again. Because we have now seen bottom signals in altcoins for like 12 months. This is like a long time. And this is the total altcoin index, okay? Now, it really has been 12 months. Look how long we've been seeing bottom signals for. It's literally been 476 days. Wow. So it's over. So it's a year and a half. 18 months we have been seeing bottom signals. And guess what? We're probably still going to be seeing bottom signals for the next 5 months as well. So that's going to be almost 2 years of bottom signals. That's why I don't think that's it. When we're finally done with this zone, we ain't never coming back. Make sure you strap on, friends. Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Tell mom and dad we do love and appreciate it. I'm going to catch you next one.